What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Today we are taking this Avanti S by Freewing. It's a foam plane and we're turning it into a turbine that runs on real jet fuel or kerosene mixed with jet oil. Now, there's a couple steps to doing this. Before I even go through it, I just want to say it doesn't matter if you're flying EDFs, doesn't matter if you're flying turbines, UMX planes, giant gas planes, as long as you're flying, enjoying yourself and having fun, that is all that matters. So always tune out the nonsense at a local field and just try to enjoy yourself in this hobby, because ultimately that's why we're here, to have fun. Now this plane right here, I bought, it's a ARF Pro, meaning it has the servos, it has the landing gear, but it does not have the power system. It does not have the motor or the ESC, which is great because we're almost ready to put our turbine in. Now in this, I'm going to be running a turbine from a different plane. I have a Freewing F22 with the Jetcat P20. Now the Jetcat is a small turbine. I think it's the smallest turbine they make, and it's a little underpowered in that F22. That's not to say it won't be underpowered in this, but I think that it will definitely have a little more pep than that F22. Now these planes typically call for like a K45 by King Tech, but I got a steal on an F22. The jet alone, the turbine alone, cost about $2,700. I got the jet with the turbine ready to go for $1,200. So I couldn't say no to that deal. I'm happy I have it. It's a high revving turbine. It revs out at like 225 or 245,000 RPM or something like that. Super loud, super reliable, and just super easy to start up. And you know, in this plane, I won't even have to take the wings off. I could just throw it in the car, go fly a turbine and come home. And for me, that's super appealing. So there's a few things. I don't even have my turbine conversion kit yet, so I'll go through that when it comes, but I have to prep the fuselage. So the first thing I'm gonna do, which I'm gonna show you right here, is my fuel tank is going to sit right in here. So there's two little foam things, I guess it's from manufacturing, that I'm gonna need to cut out. I'm gonna file it down and just kind of make room so that the fuel tank will slide in there. And then the second thing I'm gonna need to do, because this is a turbine and it's running real jet fuel, I need to protect my foam. So the turbine's gonna sit right in here. And to do that, I just bought foil tape. I got it on Amazon. You guys can pick it up from a local hardware store if you want. It's HVAC tape, foil tape, just any kind of metallic tape. And we're just gonna line this real good all the way down. Even though there's gonna be an exhaust tube that slides in here, we still wanna give it an extra layer of protection, just in case it gets so hot, even on like a hot summer day. We don't wanna burn our foam. So I'm gonna protect this, I'm gonna protect that, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna cut out those pieces of foam and just get ready so that when our turbine kit comes, we're ready for the install. So let's do that now and I'll circle back. Now, just to give you guys a better idea of what I was talking about, these two pieces right here inside the fuselage are what have to get cut out. And then right here on the sides, we're actually gonna have to file it down so that our fuel tank will fit. Now let's get this protected with the aluminum tape. This is the stuff I got from Amazon. Make sure you get to 2-inch thick. It's gonna make your life so much easier. First thing I covered was the engine cover, because the engine's gonna get super hot and it will melt that. Now to do the fuselage, super simple. I just kind of bent this a little bit. I'm gonna slide it in from the back, make sure it reaches all the way to the front, and kind of push it down the best I can all the way around. I'm also gonna cover underneath the elevator because the exhaust tube is very close to this. I'm just trying to protect the foam as best as possible. And once it's done, it's super clean. It was very simple. It didn't really take that long, and it doesn't have to look perfect because all of this stuff is going to be hidden anyway. Make sure you also do where the turbine is going to sit. That's very important because there's no exhaust pipe where the turbine is, so that's where it's going to get pretty hot as well. Now, when my conversion kit came, I was pretty happy. 750 milliliter gas tank, my exhaust tube, which is double lined. I actually didn't need to aluminum tape down the fuselage. So if you guys buy the same kit, make sure you know that you don't have to do that. It is a little bit of overkill. I have all the balsa pieces, the fittings for the fuel tank, pretty much everything I'm gonna need. And to be honest, it didn't go together that easy, and that's because this is meant for a K45 and I'm using a P20, so I did have to customize a lot, and hopefully you guys don't have to. Now, because we cut all that foam out, our gas tank slides in perfect. It's snug. I'm not gonna have to strap it down by anything, and it butts up right against that wood piece. Now that's directly over the CG, right across the main wing spar, so it's perfect. Now, I plumbed all this together outside of the model because the model is small and working inside is pretty tight, and you have to safety wire all of these tubes onto the fittings to make sure they're on there tight. Now, I slid it into place, and I just want to tell you what's what. Now, that smaller tank in front of our fuel tank is called an air trap, or better known as a UAT. So that front fitting facing the front of the plane is going to be where we fill our jet fuel into it. Now the rear one feeds into our main gas tank, and then there's another one right below it in the center, and that feeds into the fuel pump, which sends the fuel obviously to our turbine. Now the other two on the fuel tank itself, the one to the left is going to be our overflow as well as our air vent that I screwed and drilled into the bottom of the fuselage. The one to the right is just a dummy one. I'm going to cap that one off. Now, as you've seen, that bottom piece of balsa came with the kit as well as this top piece. Now, the top piece is the piece that didn't fit. I actually, if you look close, had to trim out a lot of this and kind of just play with it as I was placing things. All in all, you'll see at the end, the final product of what I did is completely different than what I'm showing you now. And here's my final product. I have my receiver. I have my two batteries, the one for the receiver with the one for the turbine ECU. I have my wires cleaned up, and I also only want to see two fuel tubes. I want to see my valve to turn it on and off and my fill tube. I also needed to add some weight to the front. I have 12 weights in total, 3 ounces, and all is good. Now, all in all, I'm real happy with the way it came out. There's one thing that I'm not happy with, that's the 3 ounces of weights that I have in the front, and the only way to combat that would be to do like a canopy mod where I would hollow this out so I could put bigger receiver and turbine ECU battery, and that would give me the weight I need so I don't need the weights. But I mean, I like to keep it super clean. I don't want it to look like a turbine. I kind of want it to be like a little bit of a sleeper. So I'm very happy that, you know, it is the way it is. My CG is absolutely perfect. And I do want to note right off the bat on taxiing it, I noticed that it basically moves without me even touching it. And then when I hit a little throttle, it starts to taxi. When I had this turbine in my F22, I had to be just about half throttle just to taxi it. So that's a big plus already. I'm excited to maiden this. I'm excited to show you guys the maiden. I appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned for that maiden. I'll see you guys soon. Till next time.